Hey, what's going on, Twisters? Breaking news here. Elliotte Friedman has tweeted out that the Detroit Red Wings are acquiring Alex DeBrincat from the Ottawa Senators and that there will be a deal involved estimated at 5 years. So I'm coming at you here as the news is sort of developing here. So we're going to keep a tab on this whole time. But Alex DeBrincat could very well be headed to Detroit, and the Detroit Red Wings could be really loading up for what could be an interesting run this season. We've already seen Steve Yzerman do quite a lot already in this offseason in the form of free agency, especially. So anyway, hey, welcome in, everybody. Great to have you here. Chance, Mike, stick around. We're going to have more news as this develops, or at least let's hope so. So just give me a second here. I'll pull up my screen so then that way you can see Twitter here. Yeah. This is what you were hoping for. This could be a huge, huge moment for Red Wings fans and for the Senators. They can move on, of course, and they can, of course, focus on all the great young players that they have on that team already. No worries, Trevor. Hey, I mean, tuning in from work. That's impressive, man. All right. Look at that. So let's pull up the tweet from Friedman because this is official when it comes from him. But yeah, DeBrincat will be traded to Detroit. I'm not sure of the package, so we'll stick around to see if more information is revealed. This is only coming in about 25 minutes ago. Will not be a long-term extension, 4 to 5 years, I think. So there we go. That's a nice sentence. Oh, yeah, for sure. Dr. Disinfect, what's going on? Thanks for hopping. And it happened. Yeah, I mean, it's not like the teams are going to announce it, but we'll see if there are any other developments here. So stick around. Now for DeBrincat, what are you getting out of him? You're getting all offense, right? You're getting easily a top 6 winger, if not a top line winger, especially for the Red Wings. He would be that guy. 2 streams today. Yeah. Doesn't happen all the time. But when you've got Alex DeBrincat going to the Red Wings after the crazy offseason that Yzerman just had, absolutely. Matter of fact, now we're not going to see cap friendly updated just yet, right, guys? Because this has not been like confirmed. It's only like it's happening. We're just waiting for things to develop. So here we go. All right. I'm also going to put up a banner here. Just a moment here. All right. Traded to the Red Wings. Let's see if more info is revealed regarding the trade. All right. So hold tight, Twisters. We'll get there. All right. Happy for him in Detroit. Yeah, I mean, don't forget, DeBrincat, for those of you who don't know, is a Michigan native. So there's a good chance that he grew up toward the end of their great runs in the, obviously started in the 90s and went through the aughts. And even they were competitive afterwards. So they came into here with $13 million in cap space. So DeBrincat, you think of some of the top wingers out there, they're earning around $9 million. So the Red Wings do have room for him if you just look at it point blank like that. But you have to consider, well, only Veleno was up for contract this year. Were the Panthers in on him? I don't remember any like serious rumblings from like the top media about this. But yeah, there we have DeBrincat. Coming off kind of a down year for him. Granted, it was his 1 year on Ottawa, and they were playing without Josh Norris. So he is a 2-time 40-goal scorer. So that gives Dylan Larkin one hell of a weapon. 4 years at 7.75. You know what? That's a great deal. This guy's going to be annually a 33-goal scorer or something like that. What did Detroit give up in the trade? That hasn't been revealed just yet, but we'll be live in case that is disclosed. But yep, this is coming from Elliotte Friedman. What was that? James Nichols. Okay. So this came in from David Pagnotta from the fourth period. DeBrincat has agreed to an extension with Detroit. 4 years, a little bit under $8 million annually. I think that's a good deal. That's a strong deal for Yzerman. Trade deals coming soon. I'm told. So James Nichols, who, let's get his credentials here, a beat reporter for the Devils. Huh. I wonder how he knows about the package that's going to be returned to Detroit. Yeah. Again, we're going to definitely take this time to dig into the details of the trade as soon as that's revealed. Bruin, hey, what's going on? What's going on with Alex? He's going back to his home state of Michigan. Red Wings could be absolutely loaded up if you add in a 2-time 40-goal scorer. This is what the Red Wings depth chart looked like before the deal. So we'll see if there's somebody in the forward group, for example, who could go. Didn't give up Raymond. Yeah, I would hope not. That would be way, way too soon. Let's see if we get some other news here, guys. You'll see some tweets here for baseball and that sort of thing. Tom Grossi is also on my Twitter feed. All right. Well, anyway, guys, if you find any more details about the trade, feel free to let me know in the chat here. $31 million for 4 years. Not too shabby. I think that's great. You know, some people were saying, it's funny because we graded the offseason so far for the Red Wings. They got the second highest grade, although some people later on said, like, geez, just because they, added all those players doesn't mean that they're that much better. But then you add DeBrincat to that, and you have yourself already a team that I would think will be battling for a playoff spot. Yeah. Of course. Oh, was the enforcer, was he a Red Wings fan? I can't quite remember. But of course, the legend lives on. They won't let Raymond go. How's Cortana doing? She's doing excellent. Only downside right now is that it's hot outside, but we got some AC running in here. Let's freaking go, says Joe. Now, I had made a video, what was this, about 2-3 weeks ago, talking about how the Red Wings should trade for Karlsson. Now, I was totally wrong about that, but at the same time, it's not like Stevie Yzerman has been. It's funny because at the draft, he's like, well, we're still rebuilding. And then he acquires a whole bunch of players, and a couple of whom could be instrumental in their season. And DeBrincat being at the top of that. Kopitar. What about Kopitar? He got 2 years at what, like $7 million annually? I don't know. I think that's pretty damn good, personally. Let's see if DeBrincat can get 40 goals again. I mean, the guy's only 25 years old. He's got plenty of top-end talent left in the bank there. Rosado, you're not liking this so much. Yeah, I mean, guys, it's gonna be nuts with teams in that division battling for a playoff spot. I'm gonna put up a poll now. I'm sure there's gonna be a bias to this, and that's fine. But which Atlantic team that missed the playoffs has the best chance to get in this year? Boston downgraded overall. Yeah, it was obviously a very tight salary cap situation, but they could still have room for Bergeron. Got to get Swayman on the books as well. So we're going to go Sabres. I think they finished 5th. Or did the Senators finish 5th? I don't know. I'll put the Red Wings second, and then the Senators, and then the Canadiens. All right. Feel free to vote in the poll here. Now the Atlantic could be lethal. Exactly. Yeah. How is this not the best division in the NHL for this upcoming year? Look at that. So Big Head Hockey. I'm not too familiar with this personality, but this is possibly what you could see out of the forward group. I don't know why we only see 9 forwards here. But DeBrincat, Larkin, and Kubalik, interestingly enough. Raymond with Comfer and Perron. Berggren with Kopp and Sprong. Kopp would be your third center. You'd put Comfer ahead of him, huh? All right, here we go. Dominic Kubalik, Donovan Sabrango, and a conditional first-round pick and a fourth-round pick. There's the details of the trade. Let's click into that one more time. So, DeBrincat is the only piece going to Detroit, and he signed a 4-year deal at about $31 million. That's a little bit under $8 million annually. And going the other way is Dominic Kubalik, Donovan Sabrango, a conditional first-round pick, and a 4th-round pick in 2024. Dude, Stevie Yzerman. Wow. They didn't have to give up a top prospect. At least looking at this looks like Yzerman just completely owned that trade. Let me know what you guys think, though. You heard that Kubalik was going to be part of it 2 days ago. Great job. I guess that makes sense, right? You upgraded that position, basically. Wow. Yzerman does it again. Yeah, this does look like a robbery. I wonder what the conditions are for the first-round pick. We can take a look at that as well. I'm surprised he went to Detroit, but not surprised he was traded. Yeah, I guess that kind of breaks the whole don't trade within the division narrative, right? Unbelievable, guys. I'm going to update my banner just so that we can put the terms of the trade on here. Going to the Senators, we have Dominic. Does anybody know who Donovan Sabrango is? Sabrango? Kubalik. Oh, Donovan, excuse me, yeah. A conditional first and a 4th in 2024. So Cap Friendly will also give us the updates on this sort of thing too. So hold tight. We'll get the deets here. All right. Hey, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Whether you're a Red Wings fan or cheer for another team like myself, we're going to be covering the offseason here. So stick around. We're going to have videos and more streams to look forward to in the months ahead. So yeah, we'll take a look at Cap Friendly once they update that. Because right now we don't know what the conditions are for the draft pick, for example. All right, let's take a look. Yeah, 4th-round pick in 2024. Okay, cool. The deal's done, man. There it is. What'd you miss? Yeah, Dustin. This easily, I think, confirms that the Atlantic Division is the best in hockey right now. A 2-time 40-goal scorer. Now, again, real talk, do you go after Hellebuck? Yzerman getting Hellebuck? How? I mean, Hellebuck is also a Michigan native, I'm pretty sure, right? That would just be incredible. Yeah, the Sens, of course, they do take the hit from this, but I still think they're a strong team. I mean, again, they were in that playoff contention a little bit last year without Josh Norris. They had DeBrincat, but they didn't have Norris. So you could argue they could still find their way back into that conversation again. You got a gifted membership? Yeah, you're back, Jay-Z. Thanks to For the Love of Life, a little bit above in the chat there. Dustin gifted out 20 memberships on our stream earlier today. So, of course, you're welcome to join our Instagram chat group. Just reach out to me and I'll add you to that if you want. Yeah, nice trade for Detroit. That's just a little bit of an upgrade in your top 6, right? Eddie is from Michigan, exactly. Yeah. Yzerman, yeah. Wow. Incredible, guys. Because, I mean, when we were looking at the offseason for the Red Wings, again, we graded them earlier as the 2nd top-rated offseason. I wanted to show you that we have... where are the Red Wings? Detroit. I got a graphic here. Because I wanted to bring up all the other big moves that they've made so far, right? So far, the Red Wings. Whoops. Come on. There we go. This is what the Red Wings have done in the offseason. This is their offseason right here. Well, I guess so. They add JT Compher. Albeit Compher, he got himself a great contract, but he had an awesome season with the Avs. Costin, who was, I think, bought out by the Oilers. Gostisbehere was a sneaky good addition because he played really well for the Hurricanes last year. And if you need somebody to help out quarterbacking the second power play, I think Ghost is a really good option for that. And Alex Lyon is a nice security blanket in case either goaltender falters for them, Reimer or Husso. I mean, Husso will be fine, but I think you still need somebody to take up, 30 starts in goal after, besides Husso. The Hawks made out like bandits. Who did they get there that in that trade? I mean, obviously they've had a lot of draft picks, so I can't remember the specifics on that. But yeah, remind us of what came of that trade. DeBrincat doesn't miss games. That's true. He's been pretty healthy so far. Kind of want the Sharks to go after Zadina. I mean, if they're not going to be able to trade for Carlson, take a flyer on a guy, sure, why not? If the Red Wings get Swayman, that would be ridiculous. But that's what we're looking at, guys. Steve Yzerman. God, is he going to go down as a better player or as a better executive? Sad to see Kubalik go. It's an absolute steal for the Red Wings. Sebrango has a lot of potential. Yeah, you know what? I'm not familiar with him. I'm going to get the book on this guy. If you don't mind, I'll just take a moment. Donovan, because, we do have Sens fans here, I'm sure. Sebrango. All right. Look at his. So Sebrango is part of this trade going to Ottawa. He's in Grand Rapids right now. Okay. And he was selected 63rd overall just 3 years ago by the Red Wings. He's a defenseman. Okay. Well, the Red Wings, as we know, right, they have a couple of potentially elite young defensemen. So that to me could certainly make sense. Yeah. Mr. Cali guy. Not even $8 million a year for a guy who's scored 41 goals twice at the age of 25. That's pretty damn good. Per David Pagnotta. Exactly. The fourth period. Coming through in the clutch. Are Kubalik and Sebrango any kind of good? So, yeah, Jean, looks like we have, or Jean-Marc, we have with Sebrango an early third-round draft pick in 2020. And with the Red Wings, of course, they've had Edvinsson and Seider. So it's not like he's gotten he's been kind of behind them in the depth chart. So it's not like he's had that much opportunity to get to the NHL at this point, right? And he's only 21 years old. So I think you should be happy about that. And Kubalik, he's going to, I don't know exactly what the Senators depth chart would look like, but he would probably be like a legit third line option for them because they are pretty stacked in the top six, even without DeBrincat. But yeah, Cap Friendly hasn't adjusted the cap just yet based on the trade, just FYI, folks. Dan's losing his mind. Dan's about to get squirrely up in here. He could be good, but not elite. Somebody to help run a third pairing. He was Canada's captain at the World Juniors. Wow. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really follow juniors all that much. Yeah, there's Sebrango again. Let's see here. How did he do in Grand Rapids last year? Okay, yeah. So he's not just quarterbacking a power play or anything like that. He also played. Toledo's the ECHL affiliate. I didn't even know that. Hey, what's going on, Rick? It's hot. It's super hot over here, and it's getting even hotter with this crazy news developing. Right? It's official, guys. Straight up official. It's going down. See Costin in a Red Wings uniform. I liked how he played with the Oilers down the stretch. 4 months until the regular season starts. Yeah, that's way too long, right? Yeah, it's about 4 months from now. Three, just 3, right? About 90 days. That's still too long, though. The condition is Detroit has the option to send one of its first-round picks in 2024. Oh, the Red Wings have... because they... Oh, here we go. Yeah, let's take a look at this one. So, why don't they say what the condition is on Cap Friendly right here? I don't know if I'm in the right place for it. But yeah, it is a conditional first-round pick for next year. So do we have DeBrincat? Yeah, DeBrincat is okay. So DeBrincat hasn't been entered. His salary hasn't been entered here. So he shows up as an RFA still. So Cap Friendly hopefully will soon be able to enter that information so we can see. But yeah, this would put the Red Wings. I mean, basically what you would do is you have that $16 million. You would subtract Kubalik's salary, and he's on a good deal too. And then you would add in DeBrincat's, $7.9 million. They should extend the season to 90 games. Hey, man, I like more hockey, sure, but I like that the playoffs kind of take over, and it's the first team to win 16 games. Cat is going to have success in Detroit. He was misutilized by DJ Smith. That doesn't surprise me to see his productivity go down a little bit. 111. Geez, I hope I don't have to wake up to any of that over here. What happened, Rick? What went down? I hope that you're okay. With Boston's first for Bertuzzi, which could be a very good pick. Yeah, because I mean, some people think the Bruins could fall off next year. We'll see what happens with Bergeron. I'm not buying into them sliding that badly, but then again, this division is getting much more competitive, isn't it? Yzerman needs to be the GM of the year. All right, so let's get to our poll really quickly here. So 64 votes. Which Atlantic Division team that missed the playoffs has the best chance to get in? Only 9% have Ottawa, almost 60% for the Red Wings, and 30% for the Sabres. Okay. Because going into this, I think that the Sabres and Red Wings would kind of be neck and neck. What did the NHL do? Stevie's playing 4D chess. Exactly, Wade. I know that there was certainly interest for a while there from the Red Wings, but I mean, it's in the same division. I'm surprised by that. And both teams are kind of at a similar point, right? They're ready to start competing. Love the trade, says Dennis. I would assume that you're saying especially for Detroit. But yeah, if we have any Sens fans who are finding value in this trade, please, by all means. Vlad, Tarasenko to Ottawa. I kind of like where your head's at. Tarasenko hasn't played for a Canadian team just yet. Right, Wade? That was nuts. Yeah, because I had to like scramble downstairs. I saw the news right after I finished filming something, and then I ran downstairs, and I was like, I got to get on a stream here. We got 90 people. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Cap hit is confirmed, says Dominic. How's Buffalo from a goaltending standpoint? I mean, there are a lot of fans who are optimistic about them, but the thing is that they need opportunity, they need reps essentially to prove what they can do out there, and even so, goaltenders take a while to develop. So, I mean, I think there's cautious optimism, but the defense in front of them has to definitely still feel the pressure to limit the number of quality opportunities as these goaltenders, especially Levi, is kind of getting his feet wet in the NHL. Hopefully we get Bertuzzi back in Detroit next year. Boy, oh boy. That's crazy because he's playing in the division still, right? All right, so the Red Wings, to give you guys an update, still have $8 million in cap space. Look at what the Red Wings did in this offseason. And then you add in DeBrincat, and they still have $8 million. Now, could that come back to cost them in the somewhat longer term? Certainly it could. But man. So there's DeBrincat, right? We don't know if there is, or at least Cap Friendly hasn't confirmed if there's going to be any sort of special, no trade clause or a no move clause. I would be surprised if that happened. But yeah, you have Alex DeBrincat at the age of 25, signing for 4 years under $8 million. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if, look at this here, right? Compher got a modified no trade clause. It's a 10-team no trade list. So that still gives the Red Wings some options. Perron had been given a 10-team no trade list. Andrew Kopp had a 10-team no trade list. So Would you be surprised if DeBrincat also had something like that? Probably not. And Larkin, who had signed long-term as well. He has a more kind of complex deal, but he doesn't even have a full no-move clause. All right. There was no chance of Bertuzzi re-signing. Yeah, I mean, well, he's from Ontario, right? Like he's going to actually play for the Leafs and kind of test the waters there and see if he wants to stick around. Then again, and maybe he'll have that option depending on what happens with Matthews and Nylander. Sens fan. Okay. John Market. Yes, thank you. I don't think we won the trade, but we cleared up cap space and DeBrincat want to sign long-term. Yeah, I mean, you got to look at it from that standpoint too, that you will have cap space to address more immediate needs, right? For example, you could even spend on a backup goaltender if you wanted, but you don't need to spend that this year. You know, the Sens certainly have. I think the Senators have overall been a very patient team with coming out of this rebuild. Wouldn't 6 years be better? Yeah, because then you're getting more prime. I mean, I can't really weigh in too much on contract duration here. You do have some money tied up longer term. And you have some money tied up longer term still for even Kopp has 4 more years left. So maybe that's one reason why, I don't know, maybe Yzerman kind of said, look, we're not going to go with a super long-term deal. We want his prime and that's about it. And we still need to get an evaluation on, you know, some of these other young franchise pieces that could be, you know, cornerstones for that team. Oh, you mean DeBrincat and Larkin are they're close, they're buddies? Right on. Let's see here. You filmed the video? All right, man. You can you're always welcome to reach out to me if you want me to take a look at it. What will the Red Wings lines look like? There we go. All right, let's pull that up. So this is just one sort of method of determining what the depth chart could look like. They actually don't have DeBrincat here, but let's say DeBrincat, Larkin, and Perron, but they're both right shots. Interesting. Okay. Why is Fabry on the second line? Confer and Raymond, Rasmussen, Kopp, and Fisher, Costin, Veleno, Sprong. Damn, that's a good fourth line. I mean, I think you could shuffle a couple of these names if you wanted to, for example, upgrade where you are at the second line wing where Fabry is. Raymond, I think would probably at least stay on the second line. But I'm not a Red Wings fan. For anybody wondering, we just cover all 32 teams, or at least we do our best with that. If anybody is new here, I'm a Sharks fan, so there you go. All right, what team is going to have a bounce back season? I mean, this is like I don't know to call this a bounce back or a breakthrough, right? So I think that you got to look really into the Atlantic Division. Could the Penguins be one of those teams? I do think they could be. You know, for them, it's all about getting into the dance and seeing what they can do from there. Colorado, some people might think they'll have. They had 108 points in the regular season, but in terms of like actually looking like a team that could win a Stanley Cup, maybe them. I don't know if it's fair to say that. And again, look at the Predators. I mean, they almost got into the playoffs last year with their whole top line missing. And I think, wasn't Yossi also injured? So, you know, don't put it past them. They haven't traded Saros just yet. Yeah, Orange Boy. We've got that information loaded up right. That information is right here. And we've got 123 people watching, which certainly does excite me. And we also have details for DeBrincat's extension. Excuse me. Giddy up. So the 25-year-old will make just a shade under $7.9 million over the next 4 years. Now, if you want to look into comparisons for recent deals, I think of Timo Meier. He got a max extension of 8 years at $8.8 million, although I would say Timo's a better defensive winger. And then you also had David Pastrnak, if you want to look at top-end talent. He's at $11.25 million max term. So I got to say, the negotiating from Yzerman's camp, excellent. This is a very affordable deal. And remember, the Red Wings right now still have $8 million in cap space. Yeah. 4-year deal, says Harvey Helka. Exactly. What are the odds that Holland makes a bad move and trades McDavid? I don't know exactly what he would be expecting to get in return. Unless he wanted to get Cale Makar. Not like the Avs need McDavid specifically. This is the biggest signing so far. Yeah, I got to say probably it is. This looks like considering how little leverage the Sens had. You think they fleeced Detroit? I personally, I think that, the Red Wings come away as huge winners here. But let's look at the Senators. I think it's only fair, right? Let's look at Ottawa. Oops. Yeah, and get I don't know. I want to say Gizmo. Hey, thank you, Nick. I don't have the gold treats right now for Cortana because she had them earlier. But let's throw some thanks in the chat here for Windy City Hockey. And guys, by the way, if you want to know anything related to Connor Bedard, please go check out my friend here, Nick from Windy City Hockey, because he covers the Blackhawks every single game. He's done that the last several years, I think 5 years, through pain and misery, and now he's got something to be excited for, and you're going to see that in the form of some good content over there. But yeah, Gizmo, I'm just going to say, the great sheepdog. Yo, yeah, that's exactly right. They didn't have to trade anybody like Edvinson. They didn't have to, not like they would trade Sider, but you're right. They kept the top defensive talents still in the organization. That's huge. That's huge. Absolutely. Good point. Let's look at Ottawa. I don't want to forget about them. All right. Ottawa has about $5 million in cap space. Mike just killing it today with the super chats. He gave me like 5 of them earlier. All right. Fellow Blackhawks fan, there you go. All right. So the Hawks now, remember that 2024 pick is conditional. Let's look at the conditions first. We already saw earlier they have about $5 million in cap space. So if they wanted to, for example, bring in another goaltender for some competition, they could. So this is that Detroit has the option to send their own first-round pick or Boston's pick from 2024, or that was from the Bertuzzi trade. In the event that the Bruins' 2024 first-round pick is a top 10 pick, which it wouldn't be, Boston can retain the pick and transfer their first-rounder for 2025. Okay. So the Red Wings have some flexibility with this. But either way, the Senators, they get a first-rounder. And this is what the cap situation is right now, $5 million. Excuse me. When you talk like this, I get all this air trapped in my chest cavity. There we go. All right. I want to take a look at the Senators' depth chart now because they do have Kubalik on the roster. Oh, wait. Let's look at that. Kubalik. So, I mean, the top 6, I think, is still strong. They didn't put Kubalik in here just yet. Could he play second line with Batherson and Norris? Absolutely, right? So you have Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk. Dude, did you just do that, Dustin? Oh, my God. No freaking way. Wow, all these people are getting memberships. Yo, can we throw it down in the chat for Dustin, for the love of life? He already gifted 20 memberships earlier today, too. That's not free, by the way. You have to pay for that sort of thing. So 40 memberships gifted by Dustin. Boy, oh boy, that makes a lot of people happy here. And not just Red Wings fans. Back at it again, exactly. Keep the money train going. Oh, my goodness. Red Wings winning the trade. I mean, like, if you had to pick a team, I would say the Red Wings. But if you want to argue that the Senators needed to clear up the cap space and get a first rounder out of that, that's good for them. I personally thought they could have gotten more, but I'm not a Senators fan, so I can't really speak to what's going on in that camp as well. Shane Pinto, by the way, he had a good rookie season considering that he had to step in while Norris was injured. So you got to give him some props there. I don't know their that fourth line though. At least that's a projected fourth line. from Cap Friendly. But you still look at the top 4 on defense: Shabbat, Chikrin, Sanderson, Zub, Brandstrom, Hamannek. Like that's fairly strong. That's good progress versus where they were about 3 or 4 years ago. That's for sure. Forsberg needs to bounce back, though. Not as good of a season for him, although 3.26 goals against average. That's actually kind of par for the course in today's NHL for a standard goaltender. Zach McEwen's also part of this group, too. And Bernard Docker, was he a first rounder? Yeah, he's a first rounder from 2018. Okay. All right. Yeah, Jake, well said. Dustin is the GOAT. And yeah, oh, now you have the membership. Okay, good. Trade treat. Yeah, I don't have the treats with me right now. I scrambled just to get this up and running. And besides, I don't have the Cortana camera on right now. I mean, if you guys really want to, I can get Cortana on camera. We can make something happen. Excuse me. I am very happy though. 139 people. Probably going to play the 7th D-man for Bernard Docker. Yeah. JBD. All right. Stevie Y doing his Scotty Bowman or his Stan Bowman? I probably Stan Bowman. How often does Cortana bark? Not very much at all. Not with me. She's pretty quiet. She communicates with me a lot, though. All right, I'm going to put up a new poll. This one's going to be interesting. Obviously, there will be a recency bias, but I'm curious to get your thoughts here. What is Steve Yzerman better at? Metal Militia. Oh my God. I wish I had my guitar here. I'd start playing that riff. Thank you so much for the 10 spot. That's rad of you. Oh my God. Everybody, man, it's a good day for everybody. Everyone's really generous today. Hey, can we throw it down in the chat for Metal Militia here with the Red Wings profile picture? Like I'm stoked. You know, I am just kind of refreshing Cap Friendly, and I appreciate the support. So yeah, we're going to be covering the offseason and beyond, of course. We do have a second hockey channel. It's called Sudden Death Hockey. I might make a short video kind of recapping this deal, so you can tune in there. We also have Sudden Death Sports. That's a sports features channel. All right, guys. Here's a fun poll. Yeah, Chris, DeBrincat is a Red Wing. No, I did not just see that from Dustin right now. Dustin, jeez. Woo, woo. You are unbelievable. Legend. A legend, absolutely. He plays like Theo Fleury. DeBrincat, you're saying? Or you say, oh, you're talking about JBD? Oh, hey, thanks, Troy. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you knew that you were notified that I'm streaming here, or that you got a recommendation for that. I used to have dog tags. Was that like a radio station? I don't know. I just see 102.7. That's what that looks like to me. DeBrincat plays like Theo Fleury. I always thought about Theo Fleury as kind of a little nasty, like not like huge hits or anything, considering he's more compact. But the guy was not afraid to play above his weight. 60 gifted memberships from Dustin. Incredible. All right. Steve Yzerman. Yeah. Rails, you know the call, right? So this is my little fun trivia that maybe non-Red Wings fans might not know about. Now, when Yzerman scored that goal, he was in the neutral zone, I think. It wasn't that far past center ice, was it? So you know how Yzerman actually scored that goal? It was against the St. Louis Blues. And I think the year was 1995 or 96. 95. I don't know. Well, anyway, Yzerman scored that goal in Game 7 of overtime, I want to say. Red Wings fans, correct me if I'm wrong. Off of a Wayne Gretzky turnover. Because Gretzky was in his lone season with the Blues. 96? Okay, thank you for the correction. Watch an interview with Stevie Y on Agent Provocateur with Alan Walsh. Okay, he's one of the top agents, right? And Adam Wild. Steve explains how he learned what he's been doing so far. That's pretty cool. I'm actually going to take that up. Dominic, thank you so much. And speaking of Dominic's, we of course had Dominic Kubalik as part of the deal last year. Or why did I say last year? I don't know. My mind is traveling all sorts of places. I do like to travel quite a bit too. Just got back from Montana. All right. So we got Dominic. Okay. So it's a Agent Provocateur. That would be a good one to just wind down for the evening. Yzerman and Alan Walsh. We still have 132 people here. Boy, that makes my day awesome. Too bad this news is coming right when I need to get something done for one of my other channels, but totally fine. Cat put up 40 in Chicago twice. He could be a 50-goal scorer. Oh, man, he hasn't even reached his ceiling just yet, huh? Okay, so how will Steve Yzerman be best remembered in our poll? So far, 70% have it as a player. Yeah, I think that's probably what I would expect, in that it's really, I mean, he has a great pedigree from what he did in Tampa, and hopefully he's setting this team up for what will be long-term success, just like back in the day when he was a player. But even so, is it a little bit too early to decide that he's a better executive than as a player, or projecting him to be a better executive? Is it a little too early to decide that? I would think so, yeah. But I think this is something fun to discuss here. Now go get Travis Konechny. Good Lord. Good Lord. Konechny, of course, coming off of a 31-goal season. And by the way, I am pretty happy with what Briere has done so far. Trading out Hayes kind of takes off the pressure of having to trade Konechny in the offseason specifically. He can always move him during the season. Does this make the Red Wings a playoff team? It's kind of hard not to think that, but again, this division has gotten so challenging. You see the progress that the Senators had been making. I still think they can be competitive because they did this all last year without Josh Norris, right? So you've got that. You've got you got the Sabres. Just a fantastic step forward they've taken the last 2 years. They got something special brewing there, and even the Canadiens took a step forward. I don't expect them to be a playoff team next year, but that whole division, you have 7 teams that could easily make the playoffs in any other division. And it's interesting that you're starting to see, like the Bruins, of course, they could only keep it together for so long. I still think they could be very good, right? I doubted them going into last year, so I don't want to do the same this year. The Maple Leafs still have a lot of firepower. The Lightning are the Lightning. Give them a full offseason. I know they lost some pieces, but with some rest, they could be a different team, or a rejuvenated team, I should say. And you have the Panthers, who were 17th in the standings last year in the NHL, and we saw what they did. And they looked much more cohesive as a team down the stretch, even before the postseason. And it's interesting in that Alex Lyon, who was a huge piece of that, is now in Detroit. So, yeah, it's wide open because these teams are stepping up. I'm excited. I'm really excited. And now that I work for myself, especially, I can afford to do more, cover. I don't want to say cover the East more, but I can follow along a little bit more and get excited to watch the Red Wings. I mean, because I'm sure that a lot of you out there probably grew up when the Red Wings were an awesome team, whether that was in the 90s and 95, right? Maybe, you saw them go to the Stanley Cup for the first time in, what was that, 30 something years? Or maybe you were born around that time and became a hockey fan when they won the Stanley Cup with Lidstrom, Zetterberg, and Datsuk, right? Well, maybe the second one I'm talking about. Brinsky? I don't know. That doesn't roll off the I would think like Brinksy? Brinksy, I think could work, yeah. Now the Sens, yeah. Somebody else had mentioned that earlier too, Troy. The Sens have $5 million in cap space. Would you sign Vlad Tarasenko to a 5x4 deal? 4 years at $5 million? That's not bad. Considering that there is that void in the top 6, even though Kubalik could fulfill it. But yeah, that would be an upgrade for them. Once again, here's the Ottawa Senators depth chart. Brinksy it is. Or Brinks. How about just Brink? Leave a thumbs up in the channel or in the chat if you remember Brink. If you know what I'm talking about. And not the overhyped video game from Bethesda from a decade ago. DCat? I kind of like DCat because it's like the cat of Detroit. And not to mention, don't forget, the Red Wings used to be the Detroit Cougars. Giddy up. Patrick Kane to the Sens? I mean, $5 million. I don't know if that's going to pay for Kane. The Buffalo Sabres might want to finagle their situation to afford him. Because, of course, Patrick Kane is from Buffalo. $6.7 million. They might be able to make it happen. Brink, Fruit Boot movie? I don't know what that means, but I have a special spot in my heart for that great Disney classic from 1997 or 1998. Am I tired? Oh, quite the opposite, Samantha. Quite the opposite. This gets me fired up. You guys are getting me fired up too. So thank you. Don't stoke the flame too much, though. We have more to come in this offseason. Hockey Town. Yeah, man, the Red Wings, Detroit could become Hockey Town once again. And just, Detroit does kind of need a team to kind of step up. The Lions are getting a little closer. But as a Vikings fan, sorry guys, but the Lions, we ultimately know where things go for them. But yeah, they could be potent next year if they, just make a couple improvements defensively. What about Bedard? Oh, Clump Sauce, that was you. Okay. Hey, well, I'm glad to have you here for Red Wings talk. What's for dinner tonight? I don't know. I don't know what's for dinner tonight. Shoot. Might have to get takeout. Okay, Metal Militia says, what trades or signing do you see coming before the season starts for the Red Wings? Boy, like what else do they do? That's tough to ask now because they do have cap space, and yet Yzerman at the draft had said that they're still rebuilding. As a non-Red Wings expert, right? Let's see here. I want to look at because we know that they have 3 goaltenders. That's good considering, again, Reimer did not play well last year. I know he was on the Sharks, but the goals saved above average between that year and the year before, there's a night and day difference. So Lyon will give Reimer, at least he'll give him some competition. So that's good. Defensively, you'll be hard pressed to find a big Justin Hull fan out there. I like the defense. I don't think it's elite, but with Edvinsson, it's going to get better too. So I don't think that they should be rushing to fill any voids there specifically. Who else could kind of join the defensive core in their system? I don't know who that would be. Gustav Lindstrom played 36 games last year, but I don't have the book on Lindstrom. And yeah, I already talked about this earlier. You look at just this projected depth chart with DeBrincat on the top line. The fourth line itself looks really good. Fisher's a hard-nosed player on the third line. And this is not even freeing up any spot for Jonathan Berggren. So I don't know if you really need to make any other moves. If you want to move someone, someone who could have value on a different team, then you certainly could. But in terms of like red flags, I don't really think there's anything that jumps out at me specifically. Could the goaltending be better? Sure. But again, let's see how Lyon does, right? Because he found something special at the end of the season, even though the postseason wasn't so great for him. Wallander. Oh, I was thinking of Willander. But yeah. What team did Willander go to? Did he go to the Canucks? Was it Tom Willander? I don't know. I think I'm probably just making stuff up. His name is Tom Willander, and he's a Canuck. Okay, good. Wow. I can't remember what I ate for breakfast, but I can remember the 16th overall pick in the draft or whatever he was. Cat will light it up. DCat, aka Brinksy. Kane back to the Hawks. I would be surprised if Kane went back at this point. They do have the cap space, yeah, absolutely. But Kane, I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to prioritize winning a Stanley Cup while he's still able to contribute. However, it's going to be harder with Kane, and we're talking about Patrick Kane in the sense that he's coming off that hip injury, right? He's going to be out for a few months, right? Isn't that correct? Or at least he could be out for the start of the season. William Wallinder, okay. Double dubs, all right. And the Blackhawks have said they're not bringing back Patrick Kane. Was that really what they said, or was that just some guy named Kyle on the street? No, I hear you, dude. By the way, I love the shirt that you have, Nick. Kosa going to be massive when ready. Yeah, that's kind of the not the missing piece, but that's a key component to their success in the future that I haven't talked about yet. So, thank you for bringing that up. How was Kosa last year anyway? I'm intrigued to take a look. Sebastian, is that with an A or an? I don't know, with an A or an E? Sebastian Kosa. Okay. Kosa is still only 20 years old. Wow. And last year, he played mostly ECHL, which at that age, you would, that doesn't surprise me. A 913 save, a 2.56 goals against. And look at his playoffs. His playoffs were excellent. Because Toledo, well, he would have taken them to the conference final, right, against Florida, and I guess nobody was beating Florida that year. They've been just incredible. The Everblades we're talking about. That's right, LGR dub. Cool. We still have 119 people. John, hey, welcome back. Can you believe it, man? Can you believe that DeBrincat is a Red Wing? That is, I mean, granted, we've heard about this before, but Steve Yzerman pulled the trigger and he got away with not giving up all that much, honestly. Great, fantastic move from Yzerman. But yeah, we have 75% say that Steve Yzerman would be remembered as a player despite, a great start to his executive career. But yeah, I think it's too early to really, decide on that. But yeah, I would expect the results to be basically what we see right now. I trust the Yzer plan, but I'm not so sure about him trading Nedeljkovic. Interesting. Because, yeah, Nedeljkovic struggled quite a bit with the Red Wings. I didn't watch really much of him there. My theory is that, of course, he played well for Carolina because anybody can play well for Carolina. Look at Mrazek. Mrazek was good as a Hurricane. Ranta's been good as a Hurricane. Freddie Anderson's been real good as a Hurricane. It's the same thing with Jacob Slavin. You can put Tony DeAngelo next to him, and they can still be one of the best 10 pairings in the NHL. Got some light in the tunnel. Boy, you're telling me. Did somebody gift more memberships? Yeah, Dustin gifted. He's gifted 40 on this stream, and he gifted 20 on our previous stream. So 60 new members. Holy Mackinac. That's a ton. So so basically that competes with what we just did on Sudden Death Sports when we talked about the most cursed teams in sports. Because that video did really well for us too. So we've got a lot to build on right now. That's exciting. Really, really exciting. And for Dustin, it helps me forget about the playoffs. If Killorn got over $6 million, DeBrincat isn't a bad value. Yeah, so DeBrincat is being paid about $1 million less than Timo Meier. So that's a good value. And you're paying that for only 4 years. Now, Eric, we did not see if there is a special term to DeBrincat's deal. And what I'm talking about is, does DeBrincat have, would he have a modified no trade clause? I would think that would be part of the deal, as this only is for 4 years. But no, Steve Yzerman doesn't have no freaking way. Steve Yzerman masterclass. DeBrincat doesn't have a modified no trade clause as part of this deal. Damn, Yzerman. Wow. Thank you, John. Yeah, it's been a lively conversation there in the comments, though. We'll just say that. Nedeljkovic didn't have that much in front of him. Hey, that's fair too. But yeah, there was a pretty night and day difference between the two teams. Kevin, hey, how you doing there? I love the channel. Thank you. I appreciate that. Trying my damned hardest between everything that I'm juggling. Let's go Red Wings. But the D wasn't that great for the Red Wings. I mean, even so, though, yeah, you got, of course, a couple young, strong defensemen for the club. Watching Seider his rookie year was so much fun. And you bring in Edvinsson, and then you're like, okay, well, we're gonna have a need to actually for goal scorers, right? So that's fair. And let's not forget, even though they have veteran centers right now in Larkin, Kopp, and Comfort, kind of a winger center hybrid, you also have to remember that Marco Kasper will eventually get some opportunity with the club too. So, former top 10 pick last year. The no trade clause stuff needs to end. Maybe if you're 35 plus, you get some say. So you're saying that free agents or that players shouldn't be able to negotiate a no trade clause. I mean, I'd be kind of curious to get your thoughts more on that. A goalie is only as good as the defense. Yeah, some people would point that out with Binnington last year too. $2.5 million a year is clutch. Is that what Kubalik's contract is? Oh yeah, Kubalik is $2.5 million for just 1 year. So yeah, that's a really good deal for a guy who can be part of your middle six. And Kubalik himself, I believe he is a former 30 goal scorer. Actually, how did he do last year? Let me take a look at Hockey Reference here. Kubalik, 20 goals, 25 assists with middle 6 minutes. He was playing about 15 a game. Husso's solid. I do think Husso's solid. I just don't think that he should be starting more than at the most I would think about 50 games. Think about Tarasenko to the Sharks. I don't think that that's in their best interest if they're trying to trade Karlsson, because they're going to likely have to consume some of Karlsson's salary for 4 years. And I would think that Tarasenko is looking for more term. So the Sharks want to have cap space available so that they can swallow some of Karlsson's salary. I wouldn't want that to be more than $4 million would be a lot. 4.5 would be a lot. I think there's a case that the Sharks might have to consume that much, but I can't, that's the thing. They only have about $5-6 million to work with right now. So yeah, I wouldn't go for Tarasenko. Whereas Duclair coming in for the Sharks, he's only 1 year at $3 million. So, and I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be sad to see Duclair go, because Sharks still need to focus on getting young assets. Duclair is about 28 years old. I think 27, 28. 50 is the number for all starters. Yeah, it's just that some teams can't afford to do that necessarily. Like Pittsburgh, for example, Jari's going to have to get more of a workload for them to get into the playoffs. But I know what you're saying, right? Because if you want to make a deep playoff run, you've got to have a goaltender who's going to start. If you're starting 50 games in the season, you're going to start another 20 games in the playoffs. So certainly, the Kings used those shades of purple and gold for 3 years before the Lakers did. Oh, because the Lakers were still using the Minneapolis Lakers colors. Boy, talk about things that we need to see in the NHL. At the top of the list is the Kings going back to purple and gold. I saw something about Tarasenko to San Jose on Twitter, and I thought that they wouldn't want him unless they wanted to compete sooner rather than later. Yeah, and even so, even with Tarasenko, I think they'd have still big holes on their roster defensively. I mean, the Sharks, they might be the worst team in the NHL, honestly. So, that getting Tarasenko is only going to help you so much. October 21st, Red Wings versus Senators. Boy, oh boy. And we're starting the season with Connor Bedard against Sidney Crosby. And I think the Kraken and the Knights play each other to start off the season too. I know they're the Winter Classic at least. Favorite jersey in the NHL that you should get in your collection? I mean, my favorite jersey that's worn right now is the light blue St. Louis Blues jersey. That's my favorite. What number will DeBrincat wear for the Red Wings? Because number 12 is retired there. So do we have to go back to like what DeBrincat wore, earlier before he was even in the NHL? A lot of people are really interested in that kind of thing with like jersey numbers. Maybe one day I'll produce a video around something like that. Needs to trade Fabry. Exactly, Eric. That's why I present to you one great trade partner being the San Jose Sharks. We're happy to do business with you. Send us your next best defensive prospect, even though you already yeah, I know you're not giving up Edmondson, but you just dealt Donovan, what is it, Sabrango. Otherwise we would have taken him. 21 for DeBrincat. That jersey is sick. DeBrincat has always worn 12. Interesting. A 7th rounder will do. We'll take anything, honestly. We need help somewhere. We've turned 7th round draft picks into special players. Joe Pavelski. Justin Braun had a lengthy career. Was a really good defenseman back in his day with the Sharks. Does Karlsson get traded? I mean, it's going to be really difficult. And here I was saying the Red Wings would be the perfect partner. I can't. Carolina is one of the teams who's interested in him. Pittsburgh is as well, but that Pittsburgh's got to give us picks. We need picks because they can't give us prospects. You might need to bring in a third team as well. Although I understand that teams wouldn't want to eat salary for 4 years. I don't know. A team like Philly just might if they get something in return. But the thing is, I don't know if Pittsburgh has the right assets to pull this off. Carolina, they could make it happen. But again, it's like they already have the best defense in the NHL. Maybe you could argue the Avalanche are right there too. Man, like Carolina, I don't see why they would need to. If they want more offense, sure, more transition offense, but they have so much money tied up on their with their defensemen, especially now that Orlov is on the books for $15.5 million divided into 2 years. So yeah, it's going to be real tough. It's going to be. I don't know if it can happen in the offseason, but hopefully, while Karlsson is still productive, that's about as well as I can weigh in on that. Blackwood and a couple of role players for Jeff Petrie. Yeah, give us the picks, man, and we'll do business. But Blackwood, it has been signed. I would be surprised if Blackwood was traded by the Sharks. Favorite Shark off the top of my head. I mean, like all time, I have a 1A, 1B with Nabokov and Thornton. Currently, though, here's my favorite Shark. It's really hard to say, honestly. Will Smith. We'll say Will Smith. A Kraken jersey and a Knights jersey? Well, absolutely. I mean, I'm never going to tell you shouldn't get a jersey. Only under very rare exceptions. But those are both beautiful jerseys. Get the Knights gray one, though. But yeah, Kraken jerseys are fun, too. I have one. The logo looks awesome. How do you do polls on your live stream? You got to check your channel's settings under Creator Studio. You might be able to find some more information on that, but I can't tell you off the top of my head. I don't know. Who would the Maple Leafs trade away? I mean, wouldn't that be crazy if they traded Nylander? I mean, among the big four, I think that he's maybe the most movable right now. But yeah, could they use some more help defensively? Probably. Nylander's a good asset to trade away, though. All right. Let's see. We're at 6 o'clock right now. We've been live for over an hour. All right. You guys have been fantastic. I wish I would continue this with you, but I am up against kind of a deadline for another channel for Sudden Death Sports. 110 of you still hanging out. But anyway, stick around. We'll have more coverage like this throughout the offseason, both on this channel and also on Sudden Death Hockey. So I need to make a video on recapping this deal. But yeah, you guys have been fantastic. Thank you so much for helping us or for attracting as many viewers as we did, Red Wings fans and otherwise, Senators fans and otherwise. And again, thank you for the super chats, especially Dustin, for those 40 gifted memberships. If anybody was gifted a membership, I will look into check the membership tab on my channel. I'll make another members post. Basically, we do have an Instagram chat group that you're welcome to join for the duration of your membership. So it would be 30 days. And there's some other stuff you can know as well. So I might make a repost on there. So anyway, hey guys, I'll leave a thumbs up before you go, because again, that helps grow the community here. And yeah, we'll have more coverage in the form of streams and especially videos throughout the offseason. All right. So once again, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you later. And great job, Stevie Y.